Ladies and gentlemen, I am a data scientist in Data Science 2 team. My name is Takaguchi. In this session, I will be talking about how the data science contributes to improvement of Line Messenger. The agenda. First, we will introduce our data scientist team. And then I will go over the challenges in Line Messenger improvement. And then actual project as a sample of an actual product, the improvement of create group feature, which I think you all have used. And also, I would like to introduce our internal analytics platform as well as data science tools. In this session, the message that I want to give in this session can be summarized in this slide. That these are the 4 key words for improving the Line app. First, user first. So not only looking at the data, but we listen to the user's voices constantly. And then the project moves forward based on the user requirements and needs. Next is data-driven. So decisions for improvement are always based on objective data. Diverse team. Data scientists do not work alone. We work with a cross-functional team with various skills and capabilities in order to get synergies. And I have a question to all of you. How many of you work with data scientists in your work? Thank you. And so even if, do you have any data scientist colleagues? Not many. So for data scientists and analysts, I hope that Line's initiatives will be useful. And also, if you work with data scientists, even if you do not analyze data yourself, I hope that you can get a good image of how data scientists work. The final keyword is in-house development. Our data scientist does not just use tools, but also gives feedback to internal tools. And also, we also develop our own tools in order to improve our process. So I will give actual sample use cases to explain these 4 keywords. First, this is an introduction of our data science team. The data science team of Data Labs belongs to the Data Science and Engineering Center. The Engineering Center is a company-wide cross-functional organization which resides just under the CTO and supports data provisioning and operations. And data scientist team, together with the machine learning team, makes up the data labs to create new value from data. And also, the data science team are separated into 4 teams internally. The first team 1 looks after Line official account, Line manga, Line music. So these are family services. And data science team 2, which I belong to, is responsible for Line apps and stamp business. Team 3 looks after the financial service, including Line Pay. The 4th team is ads. And the day-to-day operations of data scientists is done together with these business units. And there are many data science teams work with various departments: service planning, development, UI, UX designer, data platform team, and also sometimes we also work with legal and information security. And the data science project in LINE is not done solely by data scientists, but also as a team, working with various skills and roles. Okay, I would like to now explain how the projects are carried out. First step is user research. So the first step is to discover the user needs through various means. Next is planning. The user needs that are discovered are now put into a feasible plan. The third step is development. We develop in order to materialize what has been planned. Next is test. So when we say test here, this is to partially offer the functionality to the users to receive feedback. And finally, feedback. So we will compare the test results and our hypothesis in order to come up with the next plan. So by having this cycle running all the time, the product will be continuously improved. From here, I would like to explain in detail about each phase. In the user research phase, we carry out face-to-face interviews as well as online surveys to listen to the users' voices directly. These surveys, data scientists sometimes participate in these research to ask questions. So to know about these users' voices in a qualitative manner will improve the output. And in parallel with the survey, we monitor the service metrics and we share what we find. So by combining qualitative and quantitative research, this is important in order to discover the user's needs. Next is plan and development. The planners and developers are the ones who are the main characters here, but data scientists are also involved. Based on user survey results, we set metrics together with the planner and also how to validate. And in the development phase, we define necessary logs to analyze the data, and also together with the planners and developers, we check the logs. In this phase, together with the planner and developers, the data scientists work together. So it's very important that these three roles work together in this phase. The final phase is test and feedback. And this is where the data scientists can contribute the most. When we say test in line, we mean mainly online A/B testing. That is for randomly selected users. We offer the feature before and after the change and statistically analyze the change in behavior. In our team, since 2018, we have done more than 20 A/B tests, from very minor tests to very material changes. A typical test involves about 10 million users globally. In each test, we do not follow just one metric, but we simultaneously monitor more than 100 metrics. In LINE, A/B test is not just saying whether this plan is better than the other, but by analyzing through data what the data requires, this is an opportunity to really understand the user more deeply. The product improvement through data analytics that I have been explaining is done not only by LINE, but also by other web companies. Also, within LINE, many services have the similar improvement cycle. But however, there is a unique challenge of improvement for LINE app. The first challenge is that LINE apps have many users. because LINE app is offered globally in many countries and regions. And looking only in Japan, even in Japan, there are many, many users. Not only the number of users, but also there's a variety of usage. For example, in the messenger function of LINE app, there's text and stamp. So there are many types of messages that can be exchanged. So LINE user is not a user who uses a LINE app. We cannot define one way to use LINE apps. The second challenge is that we don't have a sole metrics in order to evaluate LINE apps. LINE app is a free of charge messenger. So we won't be able to generate revenue and economic value just by LINE apps. And also in main countries and regions, we already have a large user share. So it is unlikely that we will be able to double or triple the users in the future. So we need to really think about what value LINE app is offering, and we need to continue to measure that through data.
So against these challenges, the approaches that we take are very simple. That is the core value of LINE app. So this is the fundamental value that we provide to our users. That's what we go back to. LINE's mission is closing the distance, meaning the distance between people and things will be shortened. And this mission can be translated into LINE app messenger function. Using LINE app, we would like to be able to easily and pleasantly communicate with close friends. That's how the closing the distance is realized. And that is the value that we need to pursue in the functional development and improvement of LINE app. So closing the distance, in order to realize this core value, what is the function that we need to improve? In order to know that, let's think about the friend network online and its concept. So let's say that I'm in the middle. And online, I am connected to 7 friends. And those friends may be friends with each other, or they might be separate. They don't have any common friends between. With this friend network, my communication online is formed. This common friend relationship really reflects the real social relationship. This is just a concept, but for example, family, relatives, school, colleagues, or community relationships. So this diverse social relationship is reflected online so that active communication is being conducted. That is the status where LINE app is closing the distance with our messenger app. In order to realize it, what are the functions that we have to pay attention to? That is what you also use. This is group feature. By using group feature, you can send message to multiple friends, you can chat with them, or share photos. In group, you can choose the image or the name for the group. So this is really the label to represent your social relationship. So if users can use group feature better, then closing the distance, the core value of LINE Messenger, can be realized. So that's how we set the target to improve the function of our group feature. So from here, I would like to talk about the actual project cycle with you for the improvement. Firstly, from the results of user research, what we found out is that the group create procedure is not clear. The original procedure was that firstly you have to set the icon and group name for the group, and after that you would invite people to the group. That was the order. But when you actually create the group, I think you would first think about who to invite into the group, but you have to decide the icon and group name first, and you may not be able to think about it, and that's why diffraction occurs. So the plan that we thought about was to switch the order of procedure, meaning that you would first select the members to invite to the group. After that, you decide the icon and group name, so that you don't get lost when you're asked to set the group name first. So we conducted A/B test online for this. However, the results showed that the result was surprising to us, because in all regions, there was almost no change in the success rate of group create. So just by switching the procedure of group create, we were not really responding to the user's needs. So based on data, we look at the factor, the reason why there was no change in the success rate. So the background of this slide is the actual dashboard of the test. Using such metrics, we used also our knowledge and also the methods of statistical analysis to really find out the cause behind no improvement in success rate. During data analytics, we set firstly the approaches for this case. So whether we are focusing on the successful users in group create, or are we going to focus on those who failed? And even if the results may seem similar, maybe there is specific factors regionally, or there is some time dependency. So at the beginning and end of the test period, maybe there are differences in the results. So these approaches are considered as we explore the data. We did the comprehensive data analysis, and we found out that after the change in this procedure, those who could not complete group success they were not proceeding to the screen of choosing the icon and group name. So the true trouble was that they were not able to select the users, the members, to invite to the group. That was the true cause for the failure. So this is not just the result of the test data to analyze. It's about how to estimate the effect of the function improvement. So on the final day of the test, we are dividing the users who could not successfully create the group into two groups. So firstly, 65% of the users who could not successfully create the group were looking at the group screen for the first time during the test period. And many of them maybe pressed the group's create button by mistake, or they just tapped on it out of curiosity. Out of the remaining users, 7% were users who had created the group before. So they understand about the procedure, and we don't have to really worry about these users. The remaining 28% on the right-hand side, those users failed in group create multiple times during the test period. These are the target users who we have to save with the improvement in feature. Out of them, 30% of the users were not able to complete the group's create procedure successfully. So with them, we would continuously think about how to improve the procedure for group create. The next improvement plan was created. So there is the pain point of selecting the members to invite to the group. So at the top of the screen to select the members, we decided that we would display the 5 friends who you recently chatted one-on-one. So the assumption here is that if you had one-on-one chat recently, then you would also create a group with them to expand the chat. So originally, recently chatted friends was originally on the web browser version, and this was shown when you wanted to share the information with the LINE friends. So we talked between data scientists and app developers, and we decided to utilize this function at the minimum cost. Another idea was this idea, and we decided to test this at the same time. So we originally had 2 screens, one for group icon and name selection, and the other for selection of members. But by combining these two into one screen, we can mitigate the users leaving the procedure before completion. So there are 4 patterns for the screen. So the friend list, display order, there are 2 patterns for it, and also the number of procedure screen, there are 2 patterns. So in total 4 patterns, and by combination we have 6 pairs, and by comparing these 4 patterns we can decide which one is more superior. But there is also demerit in this approach. In one test we are doing 6 pairs of comparison. This leads to multiple comparison, and if we do it in a naive manner, then there might be accidental differences that might be mistaken for significant differences, and we may have many false positives. But if we try to reduce the false positives, then meaningful standards have to be strict, and we need a large sample size. And if it is a negative result, then we would have the risk of having negative results. That is why we decided to have 3 patterns only and 2 pairs to focus on.
So what to do? So the pair in green. So we validate the sequence of friends list, and then using a blue pair, we validate the effect of the number of steps. So we will come up with the order with these 4 pair comparisons, and with the limited list, we come up with the best combination. So proposing this type of non-naive manner, the data scientists can contribute with their knowledge and specialty. So let's look at the actual test results. This time, there was no change in the success rate of group creation. So should we continue with the existing UI? From another perspective, we validated the 3 patterns, compared the 3 patterns, and the planning person said, if the time to complete the group creation was shortened, doesn't that mean the convenience to the user was improved? So that was the idea coming from the planning department. So this is the previous step, and also the improvement screen. And as a result, the time to complete the group creation was significantly reduced in Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand. This seems to be the result of capturing a certain demand in the scenario of creating groups based on friends one have recently chatted with. How about the all-in-one screen, putting everything into one screen? As a conclusion, the user response was negative. In case of all-in-one screen, there was increased instances where groups with only one member was created. This is probably due to the fact that the UI was new, so people tried to create groups just as a trial or accidentally completed the procedure before inviting the members. As a result, the success rate of group creation declined when the number of members was limited to 2 or more. Also, there were more users after pressing the Create Group button. They roll back the screen and switch to Create Chat. This means the user didn't know what to do in the Create Group screen because it was new, so they gave up and switched to Create Chat instead. Also, there were more cases where completion or done screen was pressed twice. This is probably the user thought that it was done, but found that the necessary entry was not completed, so the user tried again. So based on these test results, in the current app version, we have a two-step UI with displaying the recently chat friends displayed as priority. So up to here, we looked into the group creation procedures. And also, we found other challenges. That is, many users do not know where the Create Group button exists within the LINE app. So I would like to ask the members in this room, so where in the LINE app can you find the Create Group button? Please don't open your smartphone and please respond from your memory. The first option is Home tab, B is Add Friends menu, and C is Create Chat menu. And D is I don't know, and I hope you will not select D. So who thinks this menu is in the Home tab? How about Add Friends menu? So many of you think so. How about Create Chat menu? Thank you. Who does not know? Okay, so there's still room for improvement. Actually, this can be found in all 3 places. So what we need to decide is not to put the Create Group button in one location, but to locate it anywhere the user would like to use intuitively. And this number 3, chat creation menu, we have a new option of Create Group, and this is based on the A/B test result. So this is the test plan. When you press the Create Chat button, there are 2 options, Create Group and Create Chat. So we thought of this plan. Before, we did not have the Create Group option. When creating a group, the big motivation is to start chatting with a friend. So it's very rational to have the Create Group option in the Create Chat menu. And as a result of testing this improvement, in Japan and Indonesia, more users started to complete the group creation, and that was expected. So based on this result, would we release the changed version 100%? In line, the answer is no. This is because if a certain metric increases significantly, there might be a case that another metric goes down. In this case, the users who pressed the chat button to create chat, they were offered two options, create group and create chat. So even if more users select create group, if we have less users selecting create chat was only replaced by create group. So the contribution to usability is not that high. So we measured the number of users who not only created group, but also who created chat or chat rooms. Yeah, there are more users who create group. And also we found less users completed group chats. But there are more users who either start group or chat. And this increase might look small, but users who create either group or chat, there are many of these users. So this change has very large impact. So can we now release safely? There are other things that we need to test. So we added a create group button on the talk tab. That might be diverting the users who were the traffic of the users, and as a result, there might be a reduction in adding friends or adding official accounts, and that would be a negative effect on the messenger.
As a result of data analysis, we didn't see any negative impact in this sense. So the number of views on home tab didn't change, and the creation of friends or official accounts did not change either. And the chat create button changed, but with the change in the group create route, there was no negative impact on the and negative reaction from the users. Based on such testing result, we decided that if you press on the chat create button, you would also have the group create button. This may be a small change, but just with this, we carefully look at whether there is any negative impact on the user before deciding on the final release. So in this improvement project, what I talked about is we changed the group create procedure to make it more convenient, and also we increased the options of how to create the group. And that's how we have been doing the improvement. And in the next phase, once the group is created by the user, we now target so that the group is utilized actively by the users. So like before, we started with the user research to see how the groups are used. And then we continue with the project cycle to improve so that we get the groups to be used more actively. So far, I talked about LINE app improvement project contributed by data science. So in order to do analysis of the vast amount of data, we have been able to do efficient analysis because we have the internal environment for analysis and also the tools. So from here, following the actual A/B test, I would like to show you some internal tools that were created by LINE for analysis. In doing A/B test and also its analysis, data scientists provide these 4 things to the people related to the test. First is the required sample size. Next is target user destination, and then monitoring dashboard, and lastly, test result report. In all of these phases, we utilize tools that are developed in-house. In the first two steps, so calculation of the sample size and selection of the target users, we utilize these tools. One is the OASIS, which is the company-wide web application. There's Spark SQL, Spark R, and Markdown, and Prest. All of these can be executed in one notebook. Using this, we can do data aggregation for test design, and we have statistical functions for setting sample size, and we have the note with Markdown. And these are all in one tool. And what makes us more happy is that this can be used not just by us, but non-engineers and other members can access this. So when we want to share with someone, we can use this notebook. And the actual work and the sharing can be done in this one tool. And on OASIS, all the functions to be used by data scientists can be registered here so that we can eliminate repetitions or the overlapping work. So the development by data scientists is going to be presented in short talk today, later on in the afternoon. The second tool is to select the user targets for the test. This is called Libra. It's a tool developed and operated by machine learning team and for allocation of A/B test. It's an automated tool. So Libra splits users randomly into slots and manages these slots. And by selecting the number of slots necessary for the test, you can set the target users for the A/B test. And using API, so the test setting is reflected on the server, and then the users are allocated to the A/B test. And Libra provides API, so you don't have to do the manual operation of managing the target user ID list. Next is dashboard for monitoring the progress of A/B test. For this purpose, we have Libra report. So data scientists can register the SQL query for aggregating metrics on GitHub. And then Libra report would also combine the information with the test setting information on Libra. And through Apache Airflow, the execution workflow can be generated automatically. And the Airflow can also show the aggregated results on a browser-based dashboard, and the analysis platform also saves the information. So data scientists at the time of test, it does ex post analysis, and the process data is already generated. Therefore, the data scientists do not have to do any complex query creation in a repetitive manner. And this is another monitoring dashboard tool for Libra report. Libra report provides generic dashboard, but sometimes you have other needs, such as higher frequency in creating the data report. In such a case, we have our Shiny dashboard, where we can do the customization for visualization. There's a poster session for Shiny dashboard done by Oki in our team. So please visit the poster presentation as well. And this is the last tool for test result reporting. For reporting, we have Conf.R, which is R package. So Conf.R has R Markdown, and it's an analysis script written in R Markdown, and it is outputted to Confluence wiki page as an add-in, so that you don't have to do the copy and paste for for the diagrams and tables for analysis result. And using Conf.R, we can share the information. We developed this in our team, and it is also released as an open source software from Line. So please try this as well. Lastly, this is a wrap up. In this session, I talked about the 4 keywords for app improvement project at Line using specific project examples. Line app that you use in your daily life. Actually, the features are supported by the improvements that we conduct in the background every day. Going forward as well, please look forward to further evolution of Line app, which is being improved on a daily